He's in, he'll be featured offensively. We know Julian can do one of our better out of timeout players. And more importantly, he's got to be locked in defensively. They'll target him with the other guys being who they are. And he's got to be responsible to the coverages we've talked about. And he's one of those guys, got to stay ready, just like all of our guys. We know our first five are. We're pretty sure of our next rotation after that. And then after that, it's going to be a feel of guys you put in the game, and we expect everybody to be professional about it, be ready to go.
Has his lack of playing time been due to just getting back in shape from the injury or defensive concerns? What's been behind that?
I think, coming back from injury, you got to find your rhythm, which is really hard when you're not playing in games. You got to find it in, small-sided scrimmages, pickup games with the coaches. But that's part of the NBA. Nobody practices a lot at the end of the year. That's you deal with that every year. We've gone with a rotation of the last 3 games. That's one. So we'll look at that. But no, everybody's on the table, man. If they're wearing a jersey, I'm gonna look at them to see if they can help us win a game. And Julian especially, a guy that's really impacted our season. So, like I said, offensively he can really help us, and defensively he's got to be responsible with the assignments.
In general, Coach, how would you describe sort of your offense and defense kind of subs and the kind of ways in which, like when you're up, when you're down, just how do you approach that throughout a game?
I think you can have ideas going into it. Hey, I really like this defensive lineup in this situation, but I know the Memphis game, there were a couple times where Michael had ran long stretches, and maybe it makes sense to put in somebody that's more of a defensive player. But I thought Michael's defense was great in that game. And so sometimes you can have all these ideas and coaching meetings and all these things, and you get out and watch the game, and your feel is, no, Michael's 6'10", he can guard. I'm gonna leave him out there. He can defensive rebound. So you have to feel it and where guys are in that game, how they're moving side to side. So for me, it's more of a feel, but with that feel, have a lot of things in your back pocket that you're comfortable with if you have to go there.
One of the things Memphis' interim coach talked about when he was here was about decision fatigue, how as an assistant you're constantly making suggestions.
Right.
But now you are making a whole bunch of decisions. Have you battled that at all, or how have you kind of handled the increase in decision making?
Yeah, I completely agree with him. Also, on top of that, you have to learn to filter ideas that are coming your way. And it's kind of like writing a paper. Most of the paragraph means nothing, but one sentence means something. So when you hear ideas, sometimes you have to say, thank you, I appreciate that, and it goes out the other ear. Sometimes you take it and you quickly decide, you know what, that does make sense, let's go there. And I know what he's saying, because you go into games and you're kind of a creative thinker when you're an assistant, because you're just suggesting things that you think could work, and you believe them, but you don't have to make the decision, so it's a lot easier to make that suggestion. That's been a change. With our staff, it's been really easy for me. I think they've been really good. They've known when to come at me, give me some space where I can think things through. I agree with him, man. I'm sure Doug felt the same way he took over in Sacramento. There's things you can't control because you've never gone through them. But I think we've done well so far. We've navigated that part of it as a staff.
Do you have any relationship with Tyronn Lue? He was asked about, because he has one with Coach Malone, would he reach out just to kind of pick his brain? He said out of respect for, what he was going through and having just won a championship, he wouldn't. But so, do you know him at all, or do you appreciate him at least saying that publicly? It doesn't mean that's actually it's happening.
Yeah, I know Coach Lue. We're not friends in the sense of we've hung out all the time. Hung out within the bubble a little bit. Immense respect for him. And, if he reached out to Coach Malone and they talked, they're friends. They can talk. Not to mention talking to Coach or just seeing us on tape. He knows us. He's played, Coach Lue has played against us a million times. We've played against him a million times. So, I have so much respect for him. The job he did in Cleveland was incredible. And what he's done with the Clippers through the injury seasons, he's always gotten the most out of that group. And obviously he's got a healthy group this time, to play with. So, I understand what this is, a very tenured, experienced coach, an interim coach, that whole storyline, narrative, whatever it may be. All I can tell you is I respect the guy and excited to compete against him.
You guys have obviously faced Zubats for a long time, but what about the way you go about preparing for him has changed since James got there, and kind of how do you feel like he's been unlocked in their offense the last 2 years?
Yeah, I would say his whole career he's changed. It's funny, with the Lakers when he was young, they featured him a lot and posted him up, and then he got to the Clippers, he became more of a roller, defensive guy, didn't really touch the ball, and now it's everything and everything. He posts up, he's a playmaker in the pocket. It seems like they rely on him a lot more. And obviously James helps, he gets you in space in the pocket, but I wouldn't just say James. I think, he's improved every year. He's one of those guys that's quietly probably not gotten the credit he's deserved for each year coming back and adding something a little bit different. One more post move, a little more comfortable in the pocket, making the right play, the right pass. So I don't know. We talk so much about the stars in our league. Sometimes you got to take a breath and look at the whole league, and somebody like that who deserves, his flowers for how much he's gotten better over these years.
There's plenty of speculation that you've talked to your dad a bunch. Obviously, people talk to their parents, but about these moments.
My mom too.
Well, yeah, right. But about these moments, have you found yourself talking to him a little more, or is he, have you been preparing for this your whole life? So he's kind of giving you a couple things, because it's easy for us to assume, they're talking every day, all the time about this, or that.
Yeah, we talked about Mobland last night. Check it out. Really, yeah, it is. Tom Hardy. No, I think how he coaches, how he talks to me. He is calm. We talk about this if I suggest it. That's how it was when I grew up. Basketball is not the only thing going in our lives. So nice to have that. Someone that's been through it, but also is very cognizant of what I'm going through, because he's gone through it. So what's the point of adding anxiety to an already anxious situation? So it's nice to talk to your dad about something other than basketball.
In the playoffs, we've seen teams kind of junk it up against Jokic in various ways.
Yeah.
How prepared do you feel like you and your group are for when they're just daring anyone else to make a shot?
I think we're prepared, and what you said at the end there is the most important thing. Shoot it. Trust yourself. Sometimes there's 24 seconds in the shot clock. We can't reset the play and try to get it to them again at the 14-second mark. So that's the NBA, and they have great personnel, and that's going to dictate how well they do with all the different adjustments they have. Just like us with James and Kawhi, we have a lot of great ideas, but we're playing against a great player, the two great players that can find space on the court and attack. So it's our job to, one, give them a good plan, two, not overreact, and then three, the other guys, shoot it. You're open, you're an NBA player, and step into it with rhythm, trust yourself. Because if we do that, now we're opening up Nikola Jokic. It's the most unselfish thing you can do is take an open shot. And that's going to help Jamal when he gets blitzed, help Nikola when they front him, when they double him, they triple him, quadruple him. So we know that, and I just have extreme confidence that the guys are going to do that, and they're going to be successful.
Coach, last year, Peyton Watson didn't finish in the playoff rotation, just kind of got phased out over the course of just how the playoffs go.
Yeah.
What can he do? What can he continue to earn in terms of your trust for things to keep him on the floor?
I would say play as hard as he can for as long as he can. He has to affect the game defensively. If they cross-match and put a center on him, he's got to be an active screener, a dribble handoff guy, create 2v1s all over the court. And the same thing for him. If he has a normal matchup and they double off him and he's open, shoot it. If he cuts behind the double team, be aggressive to score at the rim. Don't be soft. Go in there and play. And I think that's the biggest thing for all our guys is when they get the opportunity that's being given to them by the game plan from the other team, okay, be confident to attack it. And I think if he does that, he'll be fine, just like the rest of our guys. There's a lot of guys in this league, they're going to go through that in the playoffs. We get, it's a magnifying glass because Nikola is such a special player that everybody wants to break down. He's being guarded, and rightfully so. But really, it's about the other guys feeling good about themselves. And if they do that, we'll be connected as a team.
How healthy are you guys heading into the playoffs?
I think you're going to ask me, but I think, no, I don't know. No, I think our guys are in a great place. They moved well all week. We tried to maintenance. I think I talked about it a couple of days ago. You have to maintenance guys in different ways. Jamal wanted to kind of go because he hasn't played a lot lately. We kind of took a step back with Aaron, with Nikola. You're saving their legs as best you can. So we did the best we could with that, pulling guys out of drills that don't need it, guys that did need it. And I think we're in a sweet spot right now. We look good. I'm really happy with where the guys are at because they're going to play a lot of minutes.
What do you feel like has built the belief that this team has?
I think the locker room right now is in a really healthy place because of the guys in that locker room. When you go through a lot, sometimes, I think we all know this in life, you go through complications. Sometimes you come out the other side a better person. And as a team, that can happen too. I don't know what that's going to mean for tomorrow. All I can tell you is the guys in there are in a really good place. They like being around each other, and they're excited for the challenge. And I told them after this, and I really mean it, we all know this, even for you guys, play 82 games, coach 82 games, cover 82 games. It's time. This is where it's at, and this is where you want to be. And we earned it, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to be in this environment with hopefully a crazed fan base. So I'm really excited.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.